Hey, I'm Brian Taylor of 106.1 FM Talk and also WRDU. Going to walk you through a quick slideshow. If you have a need for any deck or patio work, I would love for you to get in touch with Kyle at Archadeck of Raleigh. Thanks to Archadeck, we were able to complete a big upgrade at our place and also take a big item off our to-do list. Feels good to have it done. Well, here's the old deck. It could have been worse, I guess. It had gotten to the point where we weren't using it because it was a constant reminder of something that we needed to replace. Not a very pleasant place to hang out. I was also hammering boards back together again just to keep them together and somewhat straight. Actually, we didn't realize how bad it had gotten until in just a couple of days, Archadeck was able to tear it down and replace it. Now, you can see in the photo just by glancing it's a big upgrade, but there are some things you can't see in the photo. For instance, this deck feels so much more solid than the old. Relatively speaking, this is a small job. Whether you're looking for a modest job or a showstopper, a jaw dropper, they can do it for you. Archadeck of Raleigh can do it. Hit the website to see how you can transform your place. In our case, we didn't have a lot of room to work with. Also didn't want a big homeowners association hassle. We didn't want to go before the board and all of that. So we decided to essentially replace the old deck with what appears to be the same thing. But it is not. They replaced our builder grade deck with something much better. It's going to be a few months before we can seal and stain the deck because the lumber used by Archadeck is pressure treated. Now, that ultimately is going to hold up a lot better to the elements. In our case, we have western exposure, no shade, no nothing. It gets the worst of the elements, and the treated lumber by Archadeck is going to hold up much better. Some of the other upgrades not really obvious at first glance. For instance, the lattice work here has been replaced by thicker, stronger boards. Also, the same is true for the rail supports too. Screws instead of nails. Well, why does that matter? Well, builders love to use nails because they can get in and out in a hurry. Screws allow the boards to expand and contract together and really stay as one unit rather than having a bunch of nail pops and boards that are loose down the road. Also, in just the fairly short time we had this deck, about 13 years, building codes have changed. Archadeck of Raleigh made sure that everything is completely up to code now as well. Rather than running the floorboards the entire length of the deck, Kyle at Archadeck suggested we place them at an angle, and it really does give the deck a more finished look. That was a good call. Working with Archadeck was a breeze. By the way, Kyle's team very aware in keeping the impact on our neighbors to be absolutely minimal. Wasn't any big deal. In our case, in and out in just a couple of days, and when they were done, other than having the huge upgrade in the deck, you couldn't tell they were there. Everything was cleaned up and ready to go. There's lots to explore at the website, and I hope you'll be in touch with Kyle at Archadeck of Raleigh to set up a meeting and walk through some ideas for your place.